Welcome to your course on letting go. Now, what is letting go? Letting go in this context is about letting go of any blockages, upsets, negativities, or anything that may be holding you back from living into your highest self or the best version of yourself. Now, the reason I'm making this course is because I've had a lot of people asking for me to make it. And, in my own personal journey, I've found that, in Kung Fu and martial arts, but also in my personal and spiritual life, letting go, releasing, and relinquishing the blockages within your mental, emotional, and spiritual life is really the actual way to level up. There's a quote from St. John, I believe it was St. John or John the Baptist, one of the Johns from the Bible, that said, "I must decrease and he must increase," meaning he, our spiritual nature, our God nature, must increase within our consciousness, and our small petty self with the blame, resentment, complaint, negativity, shame, fear, guilt, all of that must decrease. And I've found that as we start to let go of that, as we start to release it, those natural, loving, God-like capacities of compassion, peace, joy, love, courage, all naturally come out. Think of it this way. It's like the sun is always shining, but once we remove the clouds, you can actually see that it's there, revealing its innate power. So, this course is not only for leveling your life up in a personal and spiritual way, but it also helps for, your Kung Fu and your martial arts as well, because I know a lot of you guys that follow my content are into martial arts too. Now, my own experience with letting go, in particular, the way that I use it in the moment, because look, the Christian, the Buddhist, the Hindu teachings all talk about surrender, about releasing, about not being negative, about moving into your positive, holy nature. But I really got into it in about 2014 when I was living in Cyprus, and I found the teachings of Dr. David Hawkins, where he specifically teaches the pathway of surrender. And he's even written a book called Letting Go. If you have not read that, I really strongly suggest you go and check that out. It's just called Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins. And that really outlines in great depth how to surrender and let go of any blockages. Now, I've used this in my life, subconsciously before 2014, but very consciously since 2014. And it's helped me tremendously in my personal, spiritual, and my martial life. For example, when I came back to Australia, just under 3 years ago, around about 3 years ago, I got divorced and my father died and my ankle broke within the space, I think it was around 3 to 5 months. Within that same space, it all happened. And it was a very hard time for me. I was suffering quite a lot and quite a lot of negativities were coming up. And using this surrender, this letting go technique helped me to transcend all of that, release it, and now I feel more powerful than ever, almost invincible within my emotional and mental life. So, in this course, it's basically 6 lessons, 6 weeks, and I've laid it out so that you can really get into a habit and a good understanding of how to surrender. Over those 6 weeks, you'll have a meditation and like an auto suggestion to practice each week. And then the next week, we'll build upon the exercises until you really can understand the letting go technique, at least in the way I interpret it and use it for myself and my students here at my academy. So the first week's going to be about breathing and release work. The second week will be about your highest intention, your spiritual intention. The third week will be about gratitude and the state of appreciation. The next will be about feeling the actual emotions and energies, like their sensations, in order to let them go. The next will be about connecting to a higher power or something greater than yourself. And lastly, bringing it all together. Bring it all together into the letting go technique, because the letting go technique is really a way of being, or a mental or emotional posture, which I'm teaching you in a linear sequence so you can understand it sequentially. However, when it's practiced, it is a bit more non-linear, like you're going into a state or a condition, kind of like a posture or a mudra, as they say in Hindu teachings. So that's what we're going ahead with. If you do have any questions or comments, then please put them in the section below. But one last point before I move to our next lesson. In regards to getting the actual results of letting go so that you can improve and enhance your life, the most important thing is habit. Setting a habit with this actual practice. So you're going to get a lesson a week and you're going to have a meditation and a mantra. Now, what you'll need to do is just make sure you set it as a habit so you do get those results from the actual practice. Now, I found the simplest way for you to actually set it as a habit is to take a habit that you already have. For example, drinking coffee in the morning or having a cup of tea. And when you have your coffee or tea or orange juice or whatever you do in the morning, watch the video. Watch the video for the week, learn from it, take the lesson, and then do your practice either after your coffee or before it. So you're adding it into an already set habit. So, you know, week 1, day 1, you watch this with your coffee, and then tomorrow you listen to the meditation after your coffee or before it, just to make it easier. There may be, you know, maybe after lunch, because you know you have lunch habitually, right? Or maybe you don't, but most people do. Maybe after lunch might be a good time for you to do it. And one last note on those habits, there is going to be a mantra, you know, an auto-suggestion. Simply put, mantra and auto-suggestion is the repetition of a sentence or phrase or sound to start to rewire your brain, because we have automatic thoughts or auto-suggestions. Auto-suggestions is thoughts that recur on their own, you know. A suggestion is when someone else says something to you, like, hey, you're good looking, or when you think to yourself, oh, I'm good looking, that's an auto-suggestion. A suggestion is someone else, an auto-suggestion is you. Now, everyone has thoughts running through their head, everyone. A lot of the time, they're not necessarily positive. So we're going to be using mantras to reinforce some positive thought forms so we can start to rewire your brain into the condition of letting go. So that when negativities do arise, you can use your mantras, your auto-suggestions, the breath work, the letting go, the connecting to a higher power, the spiritual intention to surrender, to let go. I'm really excited to go on this journey with you. And if, once again, you do have any questions or comments, put them in the section below, and I look forward to seeing you in your first lesson.